Welcome into Carpooling with Ben, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier this week, we got some fantastic news from the arts and entertainment world in Providence, Rhode Island. Joining me, the CEO, the man who makes it happen, Lynn Singleton of Providence Performing Arts Center, PPAC RI, as it's affectionately known. Lynn, it's great to see you, sir. Way up in the balcony, I see.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Good afternoon, and to all your listeners.
Well, it's great to have you, and you have been with PPAC for a number of years now. When did you get involved? Of course, the theater was opened in 1928, but you came much longer after that.
Actually, I have lived most of my adult life in Rhode Island. I came here initially in the mid 70s, and I worked at Rhode Island College for about 5 or 6 years. I left for a couple of years, and then so I was a refugee, and then I came back to PPAC in '83, and I've been here since 1983.
Wow, you started at PPAC when he was just 10 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Very impressive.
Yeah.
No, it is a beautiful theater. If people haven't had a chance to go, first off, as soon as the pandemic's over, you just better buy a lifetime subscription, full throttle right now, because you got to get there. I've seen many shows at PPAC, and thanks to social media, I like to go through and follow some of the cast members who have come through, and to see what they post about and tweet about on their different pages when they come to Providence Performing Arts Center, or even the Vets.
Yeah.
To see what they post about the awe, the wonder of just being in such a magnificent, such a visually stunning place. Because there are theaters all across the country, and all are working hard to put the arts together. But there's something really special about what we have in Providence there. It is something magnificent.
And if you think about it, if you couldn't build this building today. I mean, they in 1977, 78, when it became a theater per se. It was then I think it was the Lowe's Theater, then it was the Palace Theater, and then it was the Ocean State Performing Arts Theater, and then in the late 70s, early 80s, it became the Providence Performing Arts Center. The one key thing about this building, though, since 1928, this building has never closed. It's always been something. It's always hosted performances. And for an old historic building, that's very important, because if you close them down, then bad things happen. The water gets the walls. I mean, that's an example of the Industrial National or the Superman building down the street. It starts to decay. Nobody takes care of things. So this building's never closed. It was a movie palace. It was a rock concert venue, and then it became us. And we put between depending on the year, depending on the number of shows, we put between 350 to 400,000 patrons into the city, and it's a very diverse. One night we're doing rock, the next night we're doing middle of the road, the next night we're doing family shows, and then in the next week we're doing Broadway shows. So it's very egalitarian. It's very mixed. It's as I like to say, very much a balanced portfolio. Now, what people know us for, and probably half of our audiences or more, is the national touring Broadway. And in a year's time, we'll do 12 to 15 weeks of national touring Broadway, which is a lot of Broadway shows.
Sure.
But Rhode Island in general, as far as the theater market, really plays above its weight. We have a very good theater. It's a very good theater town. Demonstrated by us and by Trinity Rep. And a lot of people stay home and go to shows here and don't go to Boston, don't go to New York.
Yeah, that's one of the things people, I think, who live in this area, in the Southern New England area, they kind of take for granted, because I visited a friend of mine Midwest. We had to drive 3 hours to go to a show at a theater that was equivalent out of state. I mean, it was a ride there and back, and to say, oh yeah, we're going to see a Broadway show and we'll leave, the show starts in less than an hour, we'll leave now, and you're going to be there in plenty of time, and there's plenty of places to park, great restaurants around. So, I mean, this is really something special. Obviously, the last year has been tough because of COVID, but my friend, you were like Santa Claus appearing in April earlier this week because you took to the podium to tell us some pretty amazing news.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, as I say, everybody's gone through their own pandemic, depending on their station in life. I always smile. I always say, thank goodness I didn't have young kids at home trying to go to school during all this. And now people are going to go through their own post-pandemic. It's like some people will immediately go do things. Some people will immediately travel. Some people will kind of lean back and be hesitant. Some people, but in our case, it's kind of first mover's advantage in that the Civic Center is still a mass vaccination center. The Convention Center is still a field hospital. The other arts organizations are closed. So we're trying to get out there and let people know we're still alive and promote our shows. The other piece of good news, we went out for subscription renewal for our Broadway shows last June, and we renewed in the middle of the pandemic last July, at about 80%.
Wow.
And then, of course, we've moved. I call it the Robert E. Lee strategic withdrawal. We've moved shows and we've moved shows, and finally we are where we are. But through all that movement, we didn't lose. If we lost any subscribers, it was few. And we actually added subscribers. And when we announced yesterday, we got about 700 phone calls and we sold 250 new subscriptions.
Well, congratulations. And
yeah.
Subscriptions are still on sale right now. People can still call in and
421 Arts. Just call the box office.
It's a beautiful number you worked out there. I love how that happened. You had good friends over there at AT&T or NYNEX or New England Telephone. So
it's a number we branded a long time ago.
No, that's excellent. So as I understand it, the first show coming back into the theater will be in October of 2021. Pretty Woman will be doing a week or two, October 9th through the 16th. And then you're going right to the top with Hamilton. I mean, how many awards that show has won? That'll be with us from November 30th to December 12th. I mean, you're coming in with really two heavy hitters. That's got to be very exciting for you.
Yeah, and Pretty Woman is very commercial, and it's not Equus. Nobody's gonna have to figure out what it is. And Hamilton is Hamilton. It'll add a lot of punch to the series, and it's actually coming back here before it goes to Boston.
Wow!
So that'll make the market and, quite frankly, the demand even bigger. And the other advantage of becoming a subscriber, to pitch subscription a little bit, is not only do you get your subscription tickets, but you have the ability to buy additional seats to Hamilton.
Wow.
Which is a big perk.
Sure, absolutely. I remember when some shows have come through, some of the biggest ones that we've seen over the past, decade or so, whether it be Book of Mormon, Hamilton, Wicked, these different ones. Every now and then I've heard you on the radio letting people know, folks, first and foremost, if you're friends with me, don't ask me for tickets. You can't do that. We can't help you right there. But what you can do is become a subscriber, because that's the way to get into a lot of these shows. And that's the way it's truly amazing. And it's a wonderful organization to support, because not only are you supporting the actors and actresses and the shows, the touring companies is providing many jobs here in Rhode Island and also traveling throughout the country, but your community commitment over the decades has been second to none. Of course, almost every year you work with Rhode Island Monthly when it comes to Best of Rhode Island, and you raise scholarships for the arts, which is just that's something special.
Well, and we started a program 2 years ago called Experience Rhode Island, where we buy an extra matinee of 2 or 3 shows, and then our goal is to bring every high school sophomore to see a Broadway show in the state of Rhode Island. That's our goal over a year's time. And we not only pay for the tickets, but we pay for the buses to bring them here, because what's happened in the school budgets, those kind of things have become very difficult. So sure. We didn't want that to be impact that program. This year, because of COVID, we weren't able to do that. So what we did is we obtained the rights to 3 Broadway shows, Kinky Boots, Memphis, and Newsies. And we streamed those shows into the schools. And for each one of those performances, videos, we had about 10,000 people watch them with a lesson plan, study guide. And we did that at no cost to all those schools and all those kids. So it's as much as getting them exposed to theater and audience development. I follow up with this story. The first one we did Phantom, and afterwards, this is 2 years ago, and afterwards we did a little for 300-400 students who from I think it was West Warwick. We did a talk, a meet and greet. And they were setting up in the balcony, and we had the guy who played Phantom come, and the lady who played Christine come. And the guy who played Phantom was the size of a door frame, and the lady who played Christine was like, tiny. And so they came and they spoke, and these kids were like, frozen. And afterwards, I said to them, and you always assume we all live in our own box. I said, I'd just be curious, how many of you all have been to this theater? Not one of those kids raised it. And I like, oh my goodness, because you assume things. And I was like, oh, Phantom aside, this is why we should be doing this, because if we don't get their attention young, other things will. And we certainly need to do that. So we're very committed to that.
That's awesome. And I mean, a huge kudos to you and your staff, your board of directors, all the people, all your sponsors, everybody who's worked together to make that happen. Because let's face it, you've been that usher, the grand usher, to bring them in for the first time as the organization to the world of theater, which is just something truly special. I have got to say, I'm the person at any of the shows that I attend, when there's a live band, I'm the person that the ushers usually look at me. I'll say, just wait till the band's finished. I have a soft spot in my heart for the musicians who, put it on, and then I wait until the end and, make sure to let them know. And there's a bunch of people who do that here in this market who wait until the end, because the musicians in the pit, just below the stage level, are working so hard. And of course, it's just such a wonderful venue to take in a show at. So besides Hamilton, beyond that, you've got Cirque Dreams coming. I know you have Rent, Jesus Christ Superstar, you'll have Blue Man Group. You have a whole lineup of shows. People should be going to one place and one place only to learn all about the shows, to sign up for subscriptions, to learn how to get the best in entertainment here in Southern New England. Where is that website, good sir?
Oh, it's ppacri.org.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. What's Lynn Singleton's favorite show? I know I'm probably not supposed to ask that. There's probably some grand agreement you have with all these groups. What is Lynn Singleton's favorite show?
Actually, the show that's a must see next year is Ain't Too Proud to Beg, which is the life story of the Temptations.
Right.
About 4 years ago, I picked up the rumblings that somebody was going to mount this. And one of the Otis Williams, who is the last Temptation,
right,
was involved with it, and he had a book writer from Detroit. Lady's name escapes me right now, and they were teching and doing it out like a pre-Broadway thing at the Berkeley Center for the Performing Arts in Berkeley, California, and in 400 seats. So I flew out to San Francisco and went over to Berkeley, and it was funny because I drove on. I didn't put it together. I didn't realize it was like Berkeley, and it's like University of California, Berkeley.
Right.
And I was with the Uber driver, and there was these people demonstrating. So I said, "Oh, they're having a demonstration," and he laughed and he said, "Oh, they're always demonstrating here." It was like in their DNA. So I go see this show in 400 seats, and they took the top off of this theater.
Wow.
And it's absolutely stunning. It's I don't want to say it's the next Jersey Boys, but it's close to it. And of course, everybody's going to recognize the song, but the must-see show.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then, of course, you've got a wonderful hall of fame in the back there with all the different signatures from all the shows. You have a lot of those photos up on your website. People can go follow you on social media as well. Lynn Singleton, welcome back to post-COVID or pre-COVID, whatever. Welcome back to life. The theater, I know you've been doing a lot of things in the interim, different, working with different elements of state government and everything, but it's great to see that the arts are going to be, alive once again, right in the heart of Providence, sir. It was great chatting with you today. I know you've got a lot to do, probably some costumes to stitch up and light bulbs to dust off and whatnot. So I'll let you go, sir.
Oh, thank you, Ben, and good. All the best to you.